got to trust me now. I've searched my whole life through.
Hello again, and thanks for joining us. It has been described as a hidden gem nestled among 60 acres of picturesque forest, prairie, and pond. The Franciscan Retreats and Spirituality Center is truly that gem, a peaceful, sacred place for those looking for solitude and spiritual reflection. The center's lovely ground also feature a beautiful chapel, library, conference room, gift shop, semi-private comfortable rooms, and even home-cooked meals. Although grounded in the Catholic faith, the Franciscan Retreats and Spirituality Center is a spiritual center for all people seeking a deeper relationship with the Almighty. I'm absolutely delighted to be able to introduce to you today Brother Bob Roddy, a Franciscan and Director of the Franciscan Retreat and Spirituality Center, and Bob Beck, Director of Marketing and Operations. Thank you both for being here so much and sharing in this best-kept little secret that you have out there in Prior Lake.
Yeah, our pleasure.
We hear the word retreat. What does retreat mean, Bob?
A lot of people are familiar with corporate retreats, Catherine, where a corporation goes away and they do some planning for the next year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever. Well, our retreats at the Retreat Center in Prior Lake are personal retreats that take that down to just your personal level. And it gives you a chance to pull back. The word retreat means pull back from or move away from, and in this case we're moving away from all the things that keep us so busy throughout our normal day. And those are good things, but to be at our best usually it's helpful to take time out and take a breather and just kind of plot the direction of our life and work on our faith and get in touch with some of those bigger issues that we use to steer ourselves through life.
Okay, well we make our kids take time out when things are getting too rowdy. I mean, it makes sense for our adults to be able to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Brother Bob, who attends your retreat and why would someone attend your retreat?
Well, most of our retreatants are Roman Catholic, though we do welcome members of all faith traditions and even people of no particular faith tradition. We have people who've been coming out to the Retreat Center ever since it started over 50 years ago. As a matter of fact, in 2015 we'll celebrate our 50th Jubilee of being at Prior Lake. And for many of these people, making a retreat is every bit as important as for some people getting their Viking season tickets or their Twins tickets. They know if they miss their retreat, there's kind of a hole in their year. And so we welcome people, anybody who's trying to seek a deeper relationship with God as they understand God. And faith comes along a spectrum. I like to refer to it as 50 shades of faith. And you have everybody from the deeply churched, very active in their faith community, to those who don't really have any particular church affiliation. And so we try to create a welcoming space for all of them. And it's a time for them to just, as Bob says, to pull back and to really just take assessment, take heart of what's going on in their lives and listen to those deep promptings of the Spirit within.
And we do really need to do that because our lives get so busy. We make sure we set appointments for important things to us like Viking tickets or concerts. This is another very important piece in feeding our souls. Bob, what other type of items would somebody bring with them to this retreat?
You don't need to bring very much, Catherine. Just personal items to be comfortable for a couple of nights. Most of our retreats are 3 days, 2 nights, 2 overnights, although we do have day retreats for Advent and Lent. But we take care of all the beds, the bedding, the towels, the meals. So that alone makes it a treat for a lot of people to come to our accommodations and just know they're going to be able to be taken care of, relax, and have all those things that they have to deal with in a normal day on a personal level and on a big level, just taken care of by somebody else for a while.
I know, Bob, there are different types of retreats that you offer. What are those different types of retreats?
Well, Catherine will say first we start out with a different retreat theme every year, so that changes. And this year it's compassion, a compass for the soul. And then throughout that year, we pretty much stick to that theme. But then we have men's groups, women's groups, married couples groups So people are often more comfortable in a group than they are in the mixed setting.
Okay.
And then we have silent retreats too, which are getting more and more popular. And I know some very extroverted people that have told me they really like the silent retreats because it just gives them a chance to go deeper within themselves and their own faith, rather than feel like they need to be social. When they're so social the rest of the year, they like this as a time just to really go deeper within.
Okay.
And then we have some specialty retreats where we have guest speakers come in that are off that main yearly theme. There was one we had, When a Man Hits a Wall. That was well attended and popular. And then former Archbishop Harry Flynn has given retreats and is going to be giving more retreats this year.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, and he comes in, we're not sure exactly what he's going to talk about, but he's so skilled at it that it's always a very pleasing event. And I went to it in December, and I'm planning to go next year too.
Okay, well, let's take a break and listen to some of the people who have actually attended your retreat and see what they have to say.
All right.
I think the best part is the peace and the serenity that I get from being on the grounds, in the buildings, with the friars at retreat. I find that the blessing.
I had something in my life that I was really struggling with, and I didn't understand it, and I was afraid, and I came, and I had come here a couple of years, or for 3 years prior, and then there was a point where I just couldn't take it anymore, and it just happened to be in the Sacrament of Confession with the Sacrament of Reconciliation with Father Howard, that just really, and I believe the Lord touched me on the shoulder via Father Howard, and it was really a life-changing experience for me. And
you feel like you're going away from everything else, the busyness, but most of all, it's Franciscan. It's Franciscan.
That looks like a lot of fun. Let me ask you this, Brother Bob. What is a typical retreat day like?
Well, we try to strike a balance of group activities where there are retreat conferences where people come for input on the theme, and then times of prayer, common prayer. Mass is always an integral part of our retreats, opportunities to receive the Sacrament of Reconciliation or the Sacrament of the Sick, as well as free time, where retreats have time just to pray, to reflect, to read, walk, see somebody for spiritual direction. So we try to strike a happy balance.
Okay, and Brother Bob, when we talk about spiritual direction, what exactly is this?
Well, spiritual direction is a time when somebody comes to meet with another person and speak about issues regarding their life of faith, their journey in a deeper relationship with the Almighty. And those issues can be anything from I have problems with my prayer life to I'm having problems in my family, or I have issues with my job, or I have concerns about what they're asking me to do at work. Those all feed into our journey of faith. And this is a time when one can voice those issues, and the director helps the person reflect back and to get a better perspective on where is God in all this, and where's God calling them to do or to be.
Absolutely. Now, I know the Pope picked the name Francis for himself. Can you just tell us briefly a little bit about the history of St. Francis, the name he chose?
Well, St. Francis lived in the 12th century, 13th century. He was the son of a wealthy cloth merchant. He had a moment of conversion where in prayer he heard the cross speak to him saying, "Francis, go rebuild my church." And initially he thought it meant to actually rebuild churches, but he later realized that he was rebuilding and renewing the church from within. And many people started following him. He began outreach, especially to the poor and the marginalized, especially lepers. And his movement and fraternity grew over the years, and he had a deep identification with the poor and suffering Christ. And when Pope Francis was elected, Cardinal Humes, who was sitting next to him, hugged him. They were very good friends and said, "Don't forget the poor." And immediately Pope Francis said, "Francis of Assisi, this is the person I want."
Okay, well, it fits your center perfectly, the name. I want to thank you both again for being here and in sharing in all this wonderful and interesting information about your center. Once again, the Franciscan Retreats and Spirituality Center is a spiritual oasis for people of all faiths who are seeking a deeper relationship with God. They believe it is so very important that we all do take the time out to nurture our faith, wherever we may be on the spectrum. reflect on life's big decisions, and recharge our batteries to present the best version of ourselves. To explore their full range of retreat offerings, please go visit their website, franciscanretreats.net. You can register for the retreat online as well as calling the number on the screen. I believe that it is so very important that we all do believe that with faith, hope, and love, we can accomplish anything in this world.